Hello guys, this is Professor Fernandez and I am here to give you a quick tour of your D2l class. This is a really quick type of introduction to your class. It does not substitute for you actually reading the syllabus, but I will touch on some things that are on the syllabus. So um, let's get started here. So what you see here on the screen here is your D2l course. This should look pretty darn familiar here. So this is what it looks like. In fact, let me go ahead and switch to a student view so you know what it will look like from your end. And I will know what it looks like from your end. So it looks like this. And so what you want to, I'm going to point out a couple of things here. This right here is this top menu bar. This is pretty important here. This kind of navigates everywhere in your online course. Um, this right here is the announcement section. And at least for the first week or so, you're going to want to check the announcement section because I will update it pretty regularly. Right now, it's the welcome message that I have sent you. Gives you some overall some highlights of some things here. And so this is kind of what you get here for your announcements. Some things that could be announcements are if I change a deadline, if I extend it or I shorten it. If something's going on at the school, you'll get it in the announcements. You'll probably also get an email as well. So it's a pretty important section for you to look at. Let's look at this section on the side. This is the calendar. And I'm pointing this out because students get in trouble with this a lot here. So as you will read in the syllabus, this is the section to not pay attention to, but to pay attention to. It's great because if there is something that is due or something that's coming up, it kind of tells you that things are due and when they're due, which is great. But here's the thing, I don't put everything on the calendar. I put everything in the module, as you will see here in a second. So if you miss something and you send me an email saying, well, it wasn't on the calendar on D2l, I'm going to say, well, did you see the introductory video where I said not everything's going to be on this calendar on the right? So this is something just to help you kind of double check on some things, but what you really want to look at is something called the checklist. And we're going to go ahead and see that here. So let's return back to the menu bar here. And so the menu bar here is really great because, again, you can navigate to different parts of the wonderful course. So for the most part, you're going to play with the content part, and everything is usually in content. Grades is essentially your grades, what you made on something, where you are in the class as far as your average. Course activities and collaboration, it's what I like to call the long way around of getting things. Assignments and quizzes and of course discussion posts and checklists and things are always going to be in the module. Um, but if you need to turn something in and we've missed, you're not in the module anymore, and I need you to do something that's outside of the module, I'm going to say go the long way around, which is this. You just go to course activities and do what you need to do. This right here is also an important function here. The support is for you guys. Should you need help with anything, advising, library, technical support, this is actually going to come in handy sometimes if you have no idea what to do with D2l and oh my gosh, my professor said to turn in the paper, but I don't know how. That is what you click on. So let me show you where that is again. Click support. Since I'm a professor, our support is called VTech. Um, but for students, it's called BLAC, if I remember correctly. Same thing, they just kind of help you out. Same thing, just one's for students, one is for professors. All right, let's go to content and look at what the course looks like. Yay! Okay, so after you click content, um, this all the stuff down here on the left hand side is how you navigate things. So let's click on overview, and again, this should look kind of familiar. This is, of course, your first announcement. So, and it gives you an overview, which is why I put it in the overview section, right? There's a table of contents, which really is everything that I've put up here for the entire semester without much context. So you may not want to touch the table of contents, but if you feel like, oh, when did we do that one discussion board? That may be something for you. Your syllabus is found in the tab that's called Syllabus. Surprise, surprise. And if you click here, your syllabus will come up as a PDF. You are welcomed to read through it on the screen and or download it. And if you scroll down, there is an actual download button where you can actually download the syllabus. But the syllabus is important because these are the rules of the game. These are the class policies of the game. One of the big class policies is that I don't accept any late work under any circumstances. Um, the only circumstances that I will even consider is um, my child has been in an accident or has gone to the hospital, or my mother and father have gone to a hospital, I have gone to the hospital. Those are the things I will except for late, possible late, turning in things late, but nothing else. Not having the book, computer crashes, there's no internet at the house is not an excuse because we have wonderful machines on campus and wonderful internet on campus. McDonald's has internet, Starbucks has internet, Wendy's has internet, the library has internet. Like, work can be done. So I don't accept those as excuses. So FYI. So let's go back to where all the stuff is. And a couple of things. So you'll see two folders here, or two sections here. It's called All the Stuff You Need to Know and Other Things You Need to Know. So I would click on All the Stuff You Need to Know, and you have here lots of great resources. In fact, this folder used to be called resources, but no one would click on it because they didn't know what that means. So I've changed the name of this wonderful folder. So it has things like how to be a good student, how to set up your essay in MLA format. I expect you and require you to know how to set up your essay in MLA format. So you're probably thinking, I wasn't taught this. Oh my God. Or maybe you have forgotten how to do that. So here's a resource. You click on how to set up your MLA, your essay in MLA format. And here it shows you not only how to set it up in Word, how to set it up in Google Docs, but also how to see your marked essays after I've already graded them, which is extremely important that you go back and look at the things I've marked. So that way we don't have don't repeat the same mistake over and over again. Let's see. We'll talk about court documents and other sources here in a minute. Let's click on this. Other things you need to know. So other things that are useful to you, other types of resources, information on the writing lab, which is extremely important. The writing lab is amazing. It helps you do your essays and your discussion posts. So they're there as a resource to help you. And this is their flyer. This is when they are open and where they are now. So you may want to download that as well. In addition to that, you also have in this particular folder a little bit about who I am. I may actually post that into the announcements sometime during the week. Library resources, MLA citations. This is all for you. Now let's get to the nitty gritty here. The weeks. So this is what I call modules. And modules essentially is all the stuff you have to do in a week. Every week is a separate module, right? So you can tell that everything needs to be done in this particular module, which is week 1 between January 14th and January 20th. Once a module closes, it does not open back up. So, a couple of things you need to know and understand. Take notes. Take all the notes. Overtake notes because you will not be able to get back into the folder to add additional notes or to see something again. So once a module closes, it does not reopen. I'm going to say this again. Once a module closes, it does not reopen. So um, you want to take um, during the week, all the opportunities you can to take notes. So let's go to week 1 here and see what you guys got going on. So every week you're going to have a handy dandy video here, and the videos are fun. I try to have fun to do them, and it kind of tells you what the learning outcomes are for the week and some things to look forward to. And it also helps you to remind you to reestablish your goals. In fact, goals are very an integral part of this class, and one of the first things you do is establish your goals for the class. So that's the top part here. So that's your video. And then you have something called a checklist. Now, because I'm in student mode and this hasn't opened yet because it doesn't open until the 14th, right? I recorded this before the 14th. I can't open the checklist for you, but if you look at the checklist, it'll say these are the things you need to do, and this is when they're due. The checklist literally follows the steps. Um, it says step 1 is due on the 20th and it's setting up your semester. Make sure you do step 2, make sure you do step 3 and step 4, right? And I try to link to the activities if available. And sometimes they're just in a different, how it's designed, they're in a different section than, say, like a discussion board. So I can't quite link them. So I kind of tell you this step, you kind of have to go back and see. So we'll start with step 1. Now, what's wonderful is that when you click on the module, you can see the entire like week's worth of work. Um, so you can do that, or you can go back and like click each individual step to make sure you've done everything. So step 1 for this class is essentially set up in little things. You've got to take this past English experience survey, um, set up your Google Drive or OneDrive English folder, which is super important because that's going to help you do your research. Um, you're going to do you learn how to connect your D2l email to your actual email that you use. That's extremely important because I communicate with you through D2l email. And so if your D2l email is forwarded, say, to your Gmail or your Yahoo, and I'm sending you an email about your paper, maybe something's wrong and I need you to fix it very quickly, the turnaround time is only going to be like a day or two. So if you're not checking your D2l email not but every other day or maybe once a week, then you're not going to get the email where I've asked you to check something or to change something in a paper or in a discussion post, and I will have to grade it as is, which means I'll have to take points off for it. So definitely do that. Then how to annotate text while reading. This is something extremely important because you're going to have to annotate your work. Yay! We talked about goals earlier, and I'm a big goal person. And um, setting up your goals at the beginning of the semester is extremely important. Goals change. Let me go back. Goals without a plan it's just a statement. It's just a wish, right? You probably have seen that quote before. So what you want is you want to have a goal and then you want to set up a plan to do that. This discussion board tells you about that. You've probably noticed these blue things, these blue words. This activity will take 45 to 60 minutes to complete. I try to give you kind of an estimate of how long it can possibly take you to complete an activity. Not saying that it will take you. I kind of erred on the side of caution and went a little bit over. So this activity may take you 30 minutes. I'm just thinking, just in case phones ring or whatever. So I give you kind of an estimation about how long something may take to complete. Not that it's set in stone, but it may take you X amount of time to complete it. It may take you less time. Um, Maybe you work a little faster, or it may take you a little more time, maybe work a little slower, but it kind of gives you an estimation because I want to be respectful of your time as you are respectful of my time. And I know that some of you work, some of you are mothers or fathers, have to take care of family members, and want you guys to be able to look at a week's worth of work and say, all right, this activity is going to take me an hour, but this one's going to take me 20 minutes, and this one's going to take me 10. I'm going to go in this order, and just in case you don't want to go step by step. Some modules, some weeks, you're going to have to go step by step because they build on top of each other, but not every module is like that. So if you are pressed for time and you're opening up a module on a Monday and you're looking and seeing, hey, this is going to take 10 minutes. There's a 10-minute activity, but there's a 30-minute activity, and I have about 20 minutes. So let me do this 10-minute activity really quickly and just kind of eye this 30-minute activity, seeing if it's going to take me 30 minutes. So I do that to be respectful of your time. So this is all the wonderful stuff here. Um, again, the modules open at midnight at the beginning of the week. If you are listening to Spring 2019, your module opens on Mondays and close on Sundays at 11:45 p.m. If this is not Spring 2019, if it's older or it's later than 2019, please look at the syllabus to see when your modules open. So for my Spring 2019 folks, this wonderfulness opens every Monday at midnight. They are set to open up at midnight, rain or shine. So if you really, really wanted to do your homework early, or you happen to be up, or you can't go to sleep, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'll just do my English work. It will be open for you when you can start your work. Um, a little note about things closing at 11:45 p.m. And I want to show you some things um, as I go down this road here. We'll talk about spring break in a minute. Um, talking about 11:59 p.m., 11:59 is not midnight. And this is a place where students get in trouble. They think that it's midnight and that they have until midnight to turn something in. Midnight is the next day. Midnight is Monday morning. That's why your modules open at midnight and they close at 11:59 p.m. the next Sunday. So I would do this. Something weird happens to D2l at 11:59 p.m. Doesn't matter what day it is, but people look at their clock, they look at their phones, and phones are pretty accurate with time, but not every phone is. Or they'll look at the clock on the kitchen wall and say, "Oh, I have 10 minutes." And really, you should think about having everything at 11:45 p.m. just to be safe. Because I do not take late papers, there will be some of you will be emailing me asking me, oh, I was asleep and I need to turn in my paper, or I tried to turn in my paper at 11:59 p.m. but D2l wouldn't let me. I'm gonna say sorry. That's them's the breaks, guys. So you really need to think about 11:45 turning everything in and being comfortable with 11:45. That gives you enough time in case something happens. Um, um, to re-up things. Being early is not a bad thing. And there will be folks who turn in things at 11:59 p.m. And that's kind of their thing. But you have to think about, I am not the only class that turns things in at 11:59 p.m. on a Sunday. In fact, you're not the only class that I have that turns things in at 11:59 p.m. on a Sunday. So them's the breaks. Just think about that. Okay, so let's talk about spring break this year. If this is spring 2019, um, let's talk about spring break. See how there's nothing here on spring break? You're welcome. I did not give you any work on spring break. However, you do have a research paper, so you could use spring break to do the research paper, but there is nothing due during spring break. It's the same for Thanksgiving during a fall semester, say if it's fall 2019, um, or fall 2020, fall 2020. Um, there's no I try very hard not to give you homework during the holidays, during Thanksgiving, spring break, and spring holidays, because you see all this, we do a lot of work. So I also I do a lot of work here so I can give you a break here. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much your course, a quick 20-minute deal here. Um, I think that's it. Um, Everything is great and wonderful. Oh, let me show you another place where you can um, find out where, say, like your papers are due. So if you go to course activities and go to assignments, you will see dun, 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 a lot of papers due. A lot of papers are due. Not a lot of papers, but a lot of things goes into Dropbox, right? So you will see when, say, a said assignment opens, a Dropbox open, that's the earliest you can turn in this particular assignment, or that particular assignment, or that one, or that one. And then when things are due, you can see it right here. I put them, in the module. I try to put the assignment up at least 2 weeks early. So say we're in week 2 and the first thing I think is due the third. I think put in something like the summary assignment in week 1 or week 2, and then you have 2 weeks to complete it. So I try to give you 2 weeks from the time I actually assign it to complete it, 2 or 3 weeks. So I give you a lot of time. See, so this opens on the 4th, and you have till the 24th to turn it in. So this is another way that you can check to see when things that are due in the Dropbox are due. And the things that are due in Dropbox are your essays and your research logs. Um, so that's one way of looking at it. And here's another thing. Now, I'm pulling up the quizzes, and you're going to look at this and you're going to say, "Oh my God, there's so many quizzes." Again, you're looking at, even though I have the student view up, this is a little bit of the teacher's view here. These quizzes haven't been assigned yet and may or may not be assigned. So, so just chill. Okay. So these may or may not be assigned. And some of these are duplicates, like this is a duplicate and this is a duplicate. So um, I'm going to try to have this cleaned up so you guys don't see it, so you don't have a heart attack, but just in case, there you go. So you also have here when things are due here about for quizzes. And these coordinate with the dates on the module. So, you have this grammar quiz. It opens on the 14th and it closes on the 20th. You see when they open and you see when they close. So you can kind of keep an eye out on this. No, this particular quiz will not always be available. This I will fix before you guys see it. For real, trust me. Um, let's see. And discussions. Now, I've been working on my discussion posts for a while here. Don't have a heart attack. There's way more discussions than this. Don't say, "Oh, we only have 3 discussion posts." Oh, bless your heart. No, you have discussion posts every week. You have at least 1 or 2. I try to limit it to 2. There may be 1 week or 2 weeks where there's 3, and because there needed to be 3. But I try to limit discussion posts to 1 or 2 a week. And so you have here where you can see, and I'll have each week up, where you can see the discussion posts. And we'll do this one. And this one is your discussion post for the first week. And when you look at the discussion posts, right here, it tells you when they open and when they close, so you'll know when that's due too. So in addition to the checklists that every module has, you can actually see when things are due on the discussion posts and anything that you have to turn in to the Dropbox. So lots of information here. I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions. Um, and have a very successful semester. I will see you guys soon.